I'm joined this morning by Heath Russell. He is a senior technologist and architect here in the Sydney office, a specialist in AI, a specialist in assurance, and just an all-around pretty fantastic human, I would say. Heath, thank you for joining me.
No worries.
So I wanted to ask you, kind of dig into a little bit of complex technology today and put a little simpler lens on it.
Yep.
Right? So obviously Heath has quite a resume of digging into and mastering AI across the assurance portfolio, the network technologies that our organization uses. And so the place I want to start today is really help me understand when we talk about assurance and observability and all of these terms that people hear. Can you give me a simple breakdown? Talk to me about assurance and give me an explanation of what that is for a mortal human.
Yeah. So assurance is essentially just making sure you get what you paid for, and essentially helping you diagnose whenever you've got an issue, in your IT stack or pretty much anyway, right? But understanding exactly if there's a problem, where the problem is, and how to fix it.
That's excellent. Okay, so open that up a little bit and talk to me about how people use that, right? People understand the basics of network technology, but how would someone implement something like assurance?
So, let me give you a perfect example, right? People working on a mine site have to put in a timesheet every time they finish their time at the mine. Maybe that application like SAP is going slow, right? Or having an issue. So how do you kind of understand where in that digital chain, right, who is responsible or who has a problem? Because if you think about it, you've got a computer, you've got maybe a managed network managed by one company, and then you've got a WAN provider managed by another provider, and then SAP is their own kind of machine, right, over in the corner there. And when we're trying to understand where is my problem or is there a problem, that becomes quite hard, right? And because you ask each individual group, they're going to say, no, it's not my problem. It works fine. So, we can instrument certain parts of the network or the machine that people are on, or even into the cloud, right, to understand where exactly that problem is and help you diagnose it quickly.
So it kind of takes the guesswork out of the network.
Absolutely. Takes the guesswork out of the network. That's the one.
So obviously AI has changed a lot, right? AI has changed a lot. And from a commercial enterprise point of view, it's bigger than just ChatGPT, right?
Yep.
So talk to me a little bit about AI, about its coming onto the scene and kind of where you see and what you see happening with AI in the networking. You can be specific or general about the networking environment or IT in general.
Look, AI has democratized expertise, is what I would say in a lot of ways, because what it's allowed most people to do is basically ask an expert what's going on with a specific anything, really. Any kind of specialized field where previously you had to have this, expert domain knowledge to be able to understand what's going on. Now you can literally just ask. And what's good about it is that if you, as an IT person, or even, you've got some idea, you kind of can lead it to the right outcome to get asking the right questions, if that makes sense, to get the kind of specialist outcome.
So does everyone use, how is it consumed? For a normal person, we look at, we go to Claude or we go to ChatGPT and we ask a question, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of a one-way circuit.
Yeah.
IT uses AI very differently.
Yeah, absolutely.
So give me kind of your perspective on the way that modern enterprise consumes AI.
Yeah. So, the ultimate issue with AI is what we call context. Okay. So context is giving it the knowledge to understand the problem or the data that you're trying to solve. Mm-hmm. So, in these kind of, enterprise use cases where we're starting to get into this thing called Model Context Protocol, or MCP. Now, what that does is it allows you to connect your AI LLM to systems. That could be, a database. It could be, enterprise networking equipment. It could be, Azure, AWS, whatever, right? Hyperscalers. You can connect it to all those things, and that's the kind of the magic sauce there.
So when you look at MCP as a tool, Model Context Protocol, it gives me essentially a simplified method of asking an expert level context tool set, right?
Yes.
I can essentially dig into, I can ask my network what's wrong. I can ask what it recommends as a resolution.
Yeah.
So give me an idea of what that fabric looks like. If I'm an enterprise and I'm going to utilize commercially available AI in my environment and I have access to MCPs, how do I stitch that together?
Well, to be honest, Hannah, it's actually comically easy once you get past the kind of barrier. I think a lot of people have a mental barrier of like, they think they need to be a developer. They think that they need to have this kind of expert skill. No, you literally, go to your client of choice, you click connectors or MCP, and then you literally type in the URL for the API usually, or it may even have a published MCP server, and you literally click go. It authenticates. So the AI then uses your persona. And that's it. You're connected. And what's crazy is nearly every system that your business interacts with probably has an API. And if it doesn't have an API, it probably already has an MCP server, but if it doesn't and it has an API, you can literally just create one and say, hey, LLM of choice, can you create me an MCP server to connect to this API endpoint? And it'll go, okay, and then just does it, which is pretty wild.
I remember having a conversation with a customer, actually. I was sitting at an event, and they were asking how to connect to our MCP server. And I said, just ask.
Yeah.
And he said, well, who do I ask? I said, just type it in.
Yeah, just type it in.
I said, just ask. He's like, I can just ask. I can ask Claude.
Yeah.
And I said, yes, you can. I said, there's an easier way, but that way will get you there, right? And so MCP has truly opened up. I like the term you use, democratized, right? It's made the process of learning the interface irrelevant in many tools, right? So if I'm looking at a tool that does root cause analysis, or I'm looking at a tool that record, like personal meeting recording tools, I connected my MCP to my meeting recording, my note taker, and I can say, tell me everything that I've talked to my team about this particular customer or partner, and it can summarize that and export it. So obviously the AI is, to your point, democratizing access to complexity and giving it context. Yeah. So where does that go? If we look out, 6 months is predictable or forecastable, 12 months, maybe not so much, 2 years, not at all, right? Think about where we were 2 years ago. So when you, as an expert in this space, look out 2 years from now, 24 months from now, what do you think that landscape looks like for both regular people and for big business, big enterprise?
So the things that we are doing today manually, I think a lot of that will go away.
Mm-hmm. Give me context. Give me an idea.
So like, I'm a large partner and I'm going to deploy an enterprise network, right? Previously, I would have a team of engineers that would design, document, and build all that out, right? But that would take months, right, in a large enterprise deployment. And all those scale things that we typically did before have completely changed. Like, they're not things that we do today. Like, they don't need to be done by a human, right? And to be honest, they can probably be done by AI better than a human can do it. Mm-hmm. So that's the key thing that we need to kind of think about, is that's what's going to completely change the landscape there. I think that normal people haven't really caught on to the impact that this is going to have. And I think once people realize how easy it is to connect to these systems and make them work, that will be the big time that everything will change, I think.
So to that point, what does expertise look like in this field a year from now? Because you're right. AI is easy to connect to, but it still requires the architecture of intelligence to put it together in a process, to build it for an enterprise. Yeah. When you look at the skills that will be important a year from now, 2 years, 5 years from now, what's your predictive overview?
I think the skills that you have as an engineer today, or the skills that you have in your own expertise, regardless of whatever they are deeply important and relevant, and they still will remain to be. The thing I would give, the advice I would give is, like, use that context that you have, because it's really worth it. It's worth a lot. And if you use that to your advantage, and you're using the AI tools, you can scale yourself 10 times, like 10 times easily. Yeah.
Whatever you are, it makes you better, right? AI amplifies capability and context. 100%. Yeah. So obviously, podcast is called Humanity Leads, right? Yeah. a lot of people are fearful of, and I talk about this quite extensively, about the value of humanity and its amplified value in the age of AI.
Yeah.
So give me your take on that. Is humanity still important? Are the things that make us human, many of those tasks are being removed.
Yeah.
But talk to me about the importance of humanity that remains as we advance through this age of AI and make it more enterprise ready.
Well, I think it's the most important thing, because around us, if we look at all the content that's being created and all that kind of stuff, it's all done by AI, and it's, whether people realize it or not, people crave that human piece, right? And if you're leading from your own, from your own heart, right, doing things that are deeply human, you're going to stand out. As everyone around you uses more AI, having that human connection is going to be a massive differentiator.
I agree. I talk about that a lot. I think the thing that AI can't do is it can't take a risk. It can't take personal accountability. It can't reassure and give you confidence in a room, right? It's the face-to-face human part. I think it does amplify it. It will become what's crazy. And I've given this advice both to my team, of people, but the thing that we have to become great at is contextual understanding, not just what we are doing, but how what we are doing affects, the business around us, the people around us, the impact that it makes. We will become masters of context, I think, to your point, right? We have to understand how that context is applied. So I'm going to ask you a question about fear. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of resident fear that's held inside of the promise of AI. We're afraid it's going to take our jobs. We're afraid it's going to take over the world. Compartmentalize that for me. Is it valid? Is it not valid? What should we be worried about and what shouldn't we be worried about?
Look, I think with any change, there's always fear, right? I think we need to kind of look at this as more of an opportunity. This is an absolute opportunity. That one of the greatest wealth shifts ever is happening in front of us. We're going to see normal people be able to democratize access to a whole bunch of things that were very, very specific, like legal domain and specialist expertise and all that kind of stuff becomes much, much easier for a normal person to access. And there's going to be a lot more opportunity for people who embrace this than there is than people that need to be scared of it.
You have a very unique experience with your own home building process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So talk to me about that. That's a really good how you use it.
Yeah. So I am not a builder. Have never built a house. Have no idea about building. But I know that I want to build a house, right? I want to have a place to live. And building a house is a very expensive exercise, Tanner. Yes, what I've done is I literally have AI go over all my building contracts and have it basically look at the price for all the things that are in my environment. Now, I've saved roughly $58,000 through my building process by having AI go over the top and then essentially go and get secondary quotes for all my items. Now, the cool part about this is that when the AI is interacting with other systems or other builders, it's doing it in a way that is very builder-like. So, when it asks for quotes, it asks for quotes in the builder's language. And funnily enough, when you ask for something the right way, in the builder's language, they think that you are also a builder and therefore give you a builder's price, which is very interesting. So, because when the people inevitably call you, they assume that you're just a builder or another trade that is looking for a service. So it's been an interesting exercise, and now it's led me down a path of building agents where it automatically connects to my email. It'll triage an email and go, okay, here's another quote. Does this comply with my local building standards? Is there any kind of energy efficient thing that I need to consider about this, change that I'm doing in my home or whatever? So we can build all that out.
So you touched on it just barely, but a lot of people are hearing agentic AI, right? Yeah. That's the big scary thing, right? Is like when it becomes agentic, then we're all in trouble. That's what, kind of the prevailing fear is. Give me an idea. Give a definition of agentic AI and what it means and kind of what it's used for, what you see on the horizon for it.
Yeah. So look, don't be afraid. Agentic AI is literally just, you give the AI an intent. I want you to make sure that you're my building negotiator. I want you to make sure that you're going to give me the lowest price and the best quality outcome for my build. That's literally what you tell your agent, and it's going to choose how it gets to that outcome. Whether that is, connecting to whatever tools it has available, and then it's going to loop and what we call iterate over the top of whatever that intent is that you gave it to get to the outcome. And it will choose, and sometimes very creatively, how to get to the outcome.
So there was a unique story that just was on the news a couple of days ago here in Australia.
Yes.
The most Australian use of agentic AI hopping out of its fenced area. Yeah. The gentleman that was using AI was using it agentically, fundamentally, and he asked the agent, "Please get me into this class. I want to find this special gym class, and I want you to find me a spot on the roster." Well, the news is kind of reporting it as like AI has gone out and it's done this bad thing, because what it did is it went out and it found out that this specific class, this gym had an API, figured out it could interact with the API. And it not only did it put him on the list, it literally went and removed the guy in the number one spot and stuck the agents, the guy in that spot, and just, picked the other guy out completely.
But it succeeded. It got
but
to the
it did what it was supposed to do. It's like a puppy. It's like you gave it a task and it went and did the thing and didn't realize it scratched up the floor on the way in and out. But like people fear agentic AI. And in most cases, and I want to make that clear, in most cases, when AI does something nefarious, it's because we did not provide the guardrails for it. We asked it to do a thing. It went out and it did the thing as efficiently as it could, right? So I think there's a lot humanity has to learn about adaptation and utilization of AI. Yes. So I'll ask you one kind of like narrowing question here. When you look out, over the next 24 months, and you in your role, you're giving counsel to executive leadership, people that are looking to solve things with AI, but they want to be good human leaders. What is the advice that you give them? You're sitting with a CIO or a group of them, much like we do regularly. Yeah. What do you tell them?
Two things. One is don't lose what makes you a good person just because of this. Like think about it this from a leadership perspective. Everything remains the same. All the things that you do well today are all super important. Mm-hmm. But I want to say the second thing is like give your people the tools to experiment and give them the chance to learn this, doing something that they're already doing but mundane. Right, so that way it can take the burden off them to get to an outcome. And what I find from my perspective is that having something that a problem to solve helped me learn a lot, because I could get so far, and then I had to learn another thing, and then I got so far with that, and then I had to learn another thing, and before you know it, you've slid down that slippery slope, and you're building agents, and multiple agents doing multiple things at once, and trying to rein them in. So it's good.
I think that's great advice. And so if they want to get started, if they say, man, this is something I can do, my team can do, but I want to learn it too, right? I went down this path. I poked around on it for long enough. And then I finally said, okay, I have to get good at this. Yeah. What do you say to somebody who is maybe not not a technologist? They're not someone who typically is working in these environments. They don't code. They don't build networks. But they realize they got to learn this. They've got to get involved in this. What counsel would you give them? Where to start? Yeah. Where are they now? Are they behind? Like, what's your take on it?
You're not behind, right? AI is like 4 years old. MCP is less than 2 years old. Don't worry about it. It's okay. You're not far behind. If anyone claims that they're an expert, they're probably not. And I want to say like 99% of people haven't even connected an MCP server, right? So don't think that you're far behind at all. So as far as resources though, like I started with Anthropic University. It's just Google Anthropic University. It's amazing. Watch a couple of videos. The next one would be, as you start to go down the road, like just literally watch some YouTube videos. You're going to get very far very quickly. That would be my advice as to where to start.
Yeah, I would reaffirm that. I did the same thing, and especially the YouTube videos. There's tons of content out there about it. There are accelerators. Every AI person you watch on YouTube has a community.
Yeah.
You know, find the one that you really like, find the one that works. I signed up for one for a few months.
Yeah.
It's like $80 a month. You know, it's expensive, but it was a team of people, a group of people just like me.
Yeah.
I could ask questions, show them what we were building. They had weekly calls. There's lots of different ways to learn. And I want to reaffirm one thing you said.
Yeah.
There are no experts.
Yeah.
There are really no experts at this point in time. There are people that are really good at it, but it's not a masterable level of content. It changes. Yeah, it changes constantly, month to month. We are advancing model releases, capabilities, MCP availability, etc. So, final question:
Yep.
How do you personally lead as a human when you look across this? Because people, I'm coming to you, I'm interviewing you for this, right? People are asking you questions all the time. When you look at you as a person, as a human, how do you lead with responsibility and focus, and how do you make sure that that part isn't lost in the process?
For me, my leadership style is very much about ownership. So when you're a leader, whether you're leading yourself or you're leading anybody or in a team, ownership is the key thing, right? Because inevitably when something goes wrong, which it will, because it's, you know, we're humans after all, being reticent to yourself and saying, hey, where did I go wrong in this piece? Because, you know, Phil, you know, in accounting may have made a mistake and did this thing that was wrong or whatever. But did we guide Phil, right? Did we, you know, look at ourselves and go, hey, we were part of the problem because we didn't give Phil enough guidance. We didn't help Phil when he came to us and asked for help, or any of those kind of things, right? So making sure that, you know, you're part of the solution and that you understand that you are part of the problem, right? Whenever a group around you is failing, you are part of the problem. And that once you're part of the problem and you realize that, you know, you're there to help fix that, everything goes a lot smoother because, you know, you're part of the solution.
Yeah. Yeah. Guidance, structure.
Yep.
Be human.
Yep.
And be kind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Being kind's easy.
Yeah.
Use technology to do the hard stuff, but
it's actually easier than being nasty.
It is easier than I try to tell people that all the time, but it never sticks. No, it is fantastic. Keith, thank you for your perspective. I appreciate it. I'm excited to see what you do in the next couple of years, and maybe we'll all end up with robots cleaning our house soon. We don't know.
Let's go. I don't like that.
We don't know. Keith, thanks, man.
Cheers.
I appreciate you being here, man.
Thank you.